Welcome to Literary Concepts. Today's topic is the ode. Now, let us try to understand the basics of the ode. Introduction about the ode. Ode is a long lyric poem. It is a long lyric poem. It is a serious and dignified composition, almost always in rhyme. So, it is a serious one, so undignified composition, so it is a, a bit noble in composition, in writing, almost always in the form of rhyme. Okay, you find that ode is written in a rhyme, rhythmic manner, so it is often in the form of an address. So the ode, the poem, is always addressing someone. It is sometimes used to commemorate an important public occasion. So sometimes it is to commemorate means remembering or in the memory of important some public events, public a special day or public occasions, different public important occasions. So in the memory of public occasions, we write, poets write ode. Now, the characteristics of ode. It is exalted in subject matter and elevated in tone and style. The subject matter is always glorified, praising something, and it is elevated in tone. The presentation. The presentation is always elevated, that is also glorified, and in tone and style is always a glorified one, highly praised one, understand, and a highly motivated one. The poet is serious both in the choice of his subject and in the manner of its presentation. The poet is very serious about the choice of his subject, whatever the theme or matter. So he is very serious about that, and its presentation also. The way he presents is also very serious. It is often addressed directly to the being or object it treats of. So it is often means it is generally addressed directly to some person. Being means to some person to whom that he wants to speak, to whom that he wants to deal or thinking, about whom that he is thinking. Okay, directly to the person or some object. So these are the characteristics of ode. Now the theme and types of ode. Let us try to understand the theme. So, in ode, generally we find an important public event like a national celebration, the death of a distinguished personage, the commemoration of the founding of a great university. These are some uh, sample examples of different themes. We find a national celebration regarding, okay, a public events, important events, just like okay, a Republic Day or some Independence Day, very popular national celebrations. Even the death of a distinguished personage means personality, a highly uh, distinguished, famous personality. When a famous personality dies during that, okay, that is also taken as a theme. The commemoration, the memory of the founding of great university, the establishment of a great university, in the memory of a great university. So these are some of the important themes which we find. Even the love is also one of the important theme which we find in odes. There are two types of odes. One is the Dorian or Pindaric ode. Okay, the Dorian ode It is also called as a Pindaric ode. The second one is the lesbian or Horatian ode. So the lesbian ode is also called as a Horatian ode. Now let us try to understand the Dorian ode, which is also called as Pindaric ode. The Dorian ode is named after or so called from the district and dialect in which it arose. So where it was developed from that district, okay, from that Dorian dialect, named after that Dorian dialect, the Dorian district name, okay, where it was developed, where it was flourished, on that district and on that dialect means the language, the Dorian name, the Dorian ode is the name of the Dorian ode is given. Understand? So it was a choric. Choric means so chorus, uh, which is related to chorus. It was sung to the accompaniment of a dance. So the ode, the Dorian ode, was sung. It was a chorus, and it was sung to the accompaniment in the company of a dance. While doing dance, this Dorian ode was sung. Its structure was borrowed from the movements of the dancers. The Dorian ode structure was borrowed from the movements of the dancers. Let us try to understand the structure of the Dorian ode. So there are three parts, okay, in the structure of a Dorian ode. Number one, the strophe. The second one is the antistrophe. The third one is an epode. So these are very, very important points uh, for the sake of uses in net examination purpose. The strophe, let us try to understand the first part of Dorian ode, strophe, that is a stanza. During the recitation of that ode, which the dancers made a turn from right to left. The dancers move from right to left. That is strophe. And the antistrophe during its recitation, during its singing, okay, recitation, which the dancers made a counter turn from the left to the right. Strophe and antistrophe. So in the antistrophe, the dancers turn from left to the right. Whereas in the strophe, the dancers move from right to left. And the third part is an epode. Here in epode, during this recitation, which the dancers stand still, they don't move anywhere, they don't move, they just stand still. So these are the three parts which we find in the structure of Dorian ode. This form, this Dorian ode, is brilliantly used by the ancient Greek poet who is called Pindar. The Pindar, ancient Greek poet, he used the Dorian ode brilliantly. Therefore, the Dorian form, the Dorian ode, is more usually known as a Pindaric ode. Why? Because the Pindar, the ancient Greek poet, he used brilliantly. So that's why this Dorian ode named after the poet Pindar. So the Dorian ode often also called as Pindaric ode. For example of this Dorian ode is Thomas Gray's The Progress of Poesy and The Bard. These poems are the examples of Dorian or Pindaric ode. This is all about the Dorian Pindaric ode. Now let us try to understand the second type of ode, the lesbian or Horatian ode. The lesbian ode is named after the island of Lesbos, where it originally flourished. This ode developed in the islands of Lesbos. Therefore, it is called as a lesbian ode. The name is given as a lesbian ode. It is simpler in form than the Pindari code. When it is compared with the Dorian or Pindari code, it is very simple. It conveys the thought in plain and straightforward fashion. Whatever the thoughts are there, whatever the feelings are there, those are conveyed in a very straight, in a very simple, straightforward fashion, in a plain fashion. The style is sober and stately. The style is always sober, means serious. The style is very serious. The presentation is very serious. And stately in a dignified, stately means in a dignified manner, in a grand manner. So this lesbian ode consists of a number of short stanzas, similar in length and arrangement. So it has a number of short stanzas, so which are having the same length and same kind of arrangement. So it was popularized. This lesbian ode was popularized in Latin by two great Roman writers, Horace and Catullus. Okay, that's why the great Roman writer Horace used it more and it was popularized more. So, this lesbian ode is also called as Horatian ode. The works of Horace are served as a model to English imitators of form. So, the whatever the poems, whatever the odes were written by Horace are the model to the English poets, English ode poets, English imitators. Therefore, such type, okay, uh, therefore, the English writers who followed Horace odes, Horace style of writing, so such type of English odes are commonly known as Horatian odes. Understand? So, example of Horatian ode, Andrew Marvell's upon Cromwell's return from Ireland. This is one of the popular example for Horatian ode from English poet. Some of the popular examples of odes in general here, uh, popular examples of odes, let us try to understand. William Wordsworth, Ode on the Intimations of Immortality. P.B. Shelley's Ode to the West Wind. It's very, very popular. We know P.B. Shelley's and William Wordsworth, John Keats, all these English poets, they are very popular and they have written, they have developed um, more odes. So, John Keats, Ode on a Grecian Urn, then Alfred Lord Tennyson to Virgil and Ode on the Death of the Duke of Wellington, and Coleridge's poem, The Dissection, Dissection and Ode, and Alan Tate's poem, Ode to the Confederate Dead, Wallace Stevens, The Idea of Order at Key West. These are the some of the popular examples of odes which we find in English literature. I hope this is uh, I hope this is helpful for you to understand the basics of ode concept. Thank you very much.